Hello everybody. As the title of this video reads, this video is going to be about the interview questions which I was asked during the 5 interviews that I gave related to the mechanical engineering field jobs, right? So before starting this video, I want to give you guys a quick backstory about myself. I recently graduated from University of Windsor in a Master of Mechanical Engineering in December 2021. Right after graduating, I started doing part-time job, and while doing the part-time job, I was applying for the different core mechanical field related jobs, right? So while applying for the jobs in the span of 2 weeks, I was fortunate enough to get 8 interview calls and 2 job offers from the different Canadian manufacturing brands. So this was little backstory about myself. Now I'm going to give you a list of questions which I have prepared myself using the information and questions which I was asked in the interview. I want to mention those 5 company names and the job positions for which I gave the interview, right? The first company is called Linamar and the plant of that company is Rockdale, right? So just to give you a brief idea, Linamar is the second largest North American automobile manufacturer, and the headquarters of Linamar is in the city called Gulf. Now in the Gulf there are like 20 to 30 plants of the Linamar which produces automobile parts. So there are lots of job opportunities available specifically in Gulf for the mechanical engineers and automobile engineers, right? So this interview that I gave was in a company called Linamar, and the plant of the of this company is called Rockdale, right? So the job position was line setup technician. Now what is line setup technician? They are basically responsible for maintaining the production of one particular production line. So say for example, there is one production line in which there are like 5 to 6 machineries operated by the different machine operators. Say for example, any machine faces any problem related to the maintenance or like technological error, then as a line setup technician you have to solve those error and make sure that the production of that particular production line is being fulfilled, right? So that is the first interview that I gave. Now the second interview was in the company called Gary Machine Manufacturing, and the job position was quality inspector. The third interview that I go was in a company, it is ArcelorMittal, and the position was manufacturing technician. The fourth company is again Linamar, and the plant name this time is Chemcore, where I gave the interview as line setup again. And the fifth interview that I gave is again in the company Linamar, and the plant name is Transgear, and here I gave the interview as a preventative maintenance guy, right? Now just to give you information, all these job positions are NOC B job. So if you start working in this company on these positions after 1 year of experience, you can easily apply for the PR, right? So now coming to the list of questions which I have prepared, first I will start with the HR questions, right? Because just to give you a brief idea, when I gave interview in the Linamar, specifically in the interview, the first thing that I want to mention is that like there were 3 people. The first person was HR, the second person was plant manager who basically manages the whole plant, and the third person was production supervisor, right? So there were these 3 people in a separate room where I gave the interview. And the thing is, specifically when it comes to the different job interviews, this is going to be common scenario, like there is going to be one HR person and the second person is going to be the technological person. Number and position might vary, but these 2 things are going to be in common: one HR related person and like 2 or 3 like field related people who know which questions to ask related to the technical field, right? So the first question which I usually got asked in the interviews is introduce yourself, right? Now when it comes to the introducing yourself, you might already know that you have to give the information which is not already present in the resume, but it is still somehow related to the job interview that you are going to give, right? So that they have idea like you have field related experience as well as you are outgoing personality. Just to give you a brief idea, In my case, I have also written that I am a part-time YouTuber. I like to write stories and poetries and all. So like, if you give this kind of information to them, they will have an idea that apart from the technical person that you are going to be in the company, you are doing some extra activities as well, right? So these are the kind of things that you can mention in introducing yourself, right? The second question which I got asked is why you changed the previous job. Right now, when it comes to this specific question, this question was asked in the every interview that I gave, and in some cases it was the first question which I got asked, right? So now, what is the importance of this question? The thing is, this question gives HR idea about how frequently you change jobs and like how long you are going to stay in this particular company, right? They want to make sure that after training you for so long period and after consuming so many resources after you are going to stay long in the company. That's why you get asked this question, and you have to answer this question, and you have to answer this question very smartly, because if you don't answer this question smartly, even after having a good experience and good technical knowledge, you may get rejected, because there is no use of such employee who is not going to stay long in the company, right? So in my case, what answer I used to give is that for the previous job where I resigned myself, I had to resign because I was hired in that company through the agency, and the contract of that agency got over. Because of that, I had to leave the job, right? This is the safest answer that you can give. Apart from that, you can use the question answer as per your circumstance, but yeah, try to be as smart as possible. Otherwise, there are very high chance of rejection, specifically at the point of this question, right? When it comes to the third question, it is very generic question, which is what are your weaknesses and strengths. You have to just make sure that your weaknesses are not related to the job duties that you are going to perform, right? That is it. Now when it comes to the fourth question, this was the common question when it comes to the company Linamar only. The HR commonly ask this question, like, where do you see yourself after 5 years and 10 years? Because my usual interviews were around production related to the CNC machine. So what I used to say is that I don't have any specific plans for after 5 years and 10 years related to the job positions, but I want to get as good as possible when it comes to the CNC machine troubleshooting and maintenance, because I believe CNC machines are very core part of any manufacturing industry. So once I get good with the CNC machine, I can easily get the good job position and good salary, right? So this used to be my answer. Now when it comes to the next question, the question used to be like, what is your why this job and why this company you are going to choose, right? So they want to know like why you are specifically applying for this position, why you are specifically going for this company. So you have to give some like research that you did for this particular company and for this position, so that they don't think that you have just came for the interview without any previous knowledge. Now the next question which I was asked was, what are your salary expectations and are you legally able to work in Canada or not? Now when it comes to the salary expectations, you have to do your own research regarding to the job position that you are going to give interview for, because if you end up giving an amount which is not appropriate for that job, then you may lose the job just because you didn't do your own research, right? Coming to the next question, what are the qualities you appreciate in your manager, right? So the thing is like depending on your previous experience, you can make up some incident or you can make up some quality and give them the reason, but you don't have to say things like I am not looking for any specifically any qualities or something like that, because you have to speak as much as possible and you have to be prepared as much as possible, right? Now coming to the next question, they asked me whether I have any experience where I had conflict with the supervisor and how I resolved that conflict, right? Now again, in this question you cannot say that I never had any conflict, because it's not possible, because you have been like living long enough to have some kind of conflict. So you have to give some incident and some conflict, and you have to make sure that when you say how you resolve that conflict, you don't sound as an arrogant person or a rude person, and you resolve that conflict as some mature guy, right? So this is one of those questions. Now going to the next question, the next question was give us the example of any leader that you didn't like. Now again, it's the tricky question like the previous question, and you have to answer it very carefully, otherwise you may ruin the vibe of the whole interview just because of the single question, right? Now going to the next question, is there any question that you have for us? Now these questions get normally asked at the end of the interview, and in this question you can like ask the question like, how was I as an interviewer, or like, do you have any feedback for myself or something like that, right? It's better than saying that I don't have any question, right? Now going to the technical questions which I was asked. So the first thing that I will like to tell about technical question is that most of the questions are depending on your resume, like whatever things that you have written in the resume, they will ask about those details and those points which you have mentioned in your previous job experience related job positions and your job responsibilities. तो इस बात का ध्यान रखिएगा कि जो भी चीज़ आप रेज्यूमे में लिखो वो सारी चीज़ें आपने या तो अच्छे तरीके से करी हुई है या फिर आप उन चीज़ों के बारे में अच्छे तरीके से बोल सकते हो, राइट? सो या दिस इज़ द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट यू हैव टू मेक श्योर जब बात आती है टेक्निकल क्वेश्चंस की, राइट? नाउ मूविंग टू द क्वेश्चंस व्हिच आई वाज आस्क्ड, द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज व्हाट आर योर जॉब ड्यूटीज in your previous job. So you have to be well prepared when it comes to this specific questions, because जितनी ज़्यादा जॉब रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ आप अपने प्रीवियस जॉब के बारे में बताओगे जो कि मैच हो रही है आपकी जो जॉब के लिए आप इंटरव्यू दे रहे हो, उतना ज़्यादा दे विल फील कॉन्फिडेंट टू हायर यू, राइट? सो आपको एक चीज़ करनी है कि आपको रिसर्च करना है इस पर्टिकुलर जॉब की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ के बारे में, और आपको स्मार्टली रिलेट करना है अपनी प्रीवियस जॉब की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज़ को अपनी फ्यूचर जॉब्स से, राइट? ताकि उन लोगों को लगे कि आपको उनको ज़्यादा ट्रेन करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, राइट? In my case, I already had an experience in Linamar as a machine operator and as a quality inspector, so I could relate those points with my future job, right? So like you have to like be smart enough to relate the points, and you can like easily answer this question smartly, right? Now moving to the next question. The next question is what are the internship that you did and what are the workshop that you attended? Like in my resume, I have mentioned about one technical workshop and one internship that I did as a CNC machinist in the company called Indo-German Tool Room. So in that company, I had experience as a CNC machinist and like CNC programming. So in like 2 or 3 job interviews, I got asked about that particular experience because it is related to the job interviews that I was giving. So you have to make sure that you mention such thing in your resume which are related to your job responsibilities, right? So that you get more so that you get asked more questions and you can drive the interview, right? Moving to the next question. The other question was how much do you know about the CNC programming, right? Because I was giving the interview related to the production lines and all, so I got asked this question. So it depends on the position that you are giving the interview for, so you have to like keep the general idea about the job responsibilities and search the terms related to it so that you can give the answers, right? Moving to the next question. Now I'm going to be specific about this particular question depending on the interview that I give. Now these particular questions that I am going to discuss right now are related to the job interview that I gave for the quality inspector position, right? So in the Gary machine manufacturing, when I gave the interview, these are the questions which I got asked. The first technical question was what is the definition of surface roughness and how much do you know about the GD&T? And then they show me one technical they show me one drawing which was like 2D drawing, and there were several concepts related to the GD&T which were used in that technical drawing. So like they asked me several questions regarding that drawing, and they asked me like what is this particular symbol about. So just to give you a basic idea, you can do the GD&T foundation course from the LinkedIn Learning because it helps a lot. It just gives you a brief idea about the GD&T and like what are the specific 16 or 17 symbols which are used in GD&T, so that you can at least have a basic idea to answer those questions when it specifically comes to the quality or even related to the manufacturing, because even in the manufacturing you have to like read the blueprints and then read the blueprints and do the manufacturing and all. So that GD&T is something which is very necessary when it comes to the interview related to the manufacturing and quality and also design. So yeah, I will like highly give you opinion that you should do the courses related to the GD&T wherever you find it, because it is very necessary specifically for the mechanical or automobile field, right? Moving to the next question which I was asked, it was how to set the datum point. Again, datum point is a concept related to the GD&T which you use in the mechanical drawings. So like this question is basically related to the GD&T. Moving to the next question, it says how to set the bore gauge. Now there were different types of numerous gauges which I used as a quality inspector experience that I had. So I had written in my job description of the previous job that I was using numerous kind of gauges. So this person particularly asked me which like if you can set the like bore gauge or not, right? So you have to be very particular about the job responsibilities that you are mentioning about your previous job, because they will ask you the questions, and if you don't give proper detailed answer, they will figure out that you didn't have that much experience, right? Now coming to the next question, now these particular questions are related to the preventative maintenance job position related interview. So the first question is, do you have your own toolkit or not? Because preventative maintenance is all about using the toolkit and doing the maintenance of the machine. So they just wanted to know if I have hands-on experience on the toolkit or not, right? Moving to the next question, do you have forklift license or not? They asked this question because you have to drive a forklift as a preventative maintenance guy. So they were asking me about it, but when I said no and I'm planning to get one, they told me that it was a Linamar interview. So they told me that they will sponsor my training as a forklift driver if I get selected for the position, right? So yeah, there are different perks like that in the company if you don't have any particular skill that you may require as a working professional, right? Moving to the next question, the question that they asked was, do you know about WHMIS and FIRES? Now, what is FIRES? FIRES is all about workplace safety and cleaning and maintaining the decorum of the place. So you have to have basic idea about the FIRES. Because I had already worked as a machine operator, I knew what is FIRES, so I gave them information about it. And WHMIS is all about like health and safety, about the job responsibilities that you're going to perform. You can do your own research about it and like give the information that you already have, right? So these were basically all the questions which I got asked in the interview. Now I want to give you a brief idea about any particular interview and what kind of mindset you should have, what kind of resume you should have, and what kind of questions you may get asked, right? Now the first thing first, you don't have to over exaggerate the job responsibilities that you perform, and you don't have to lie about particular things, because they are eventually going to figure it out if you have lied or not, depending on the things you have mentioned, right? Just to give you an example, I wrote in my one of my job responsibilities that I used to handle a CMM machine. Now CMM machine is a coordinate measurement machine which is used for the quality assurance. Now I had mentioned that I handle this machine, but they eventually figured it out that I don't know much about CMM machine based on the line of questions which they asked. So the person who was taking the interview, he asked me like, what you used to do on a CMM machine. I told him that I used to load a part on the machine, and then machine will do the whole inspection thing, and then I will unload the part and generate the report and like make sure that the part is not out of the tolerance and not things like that. Then he asked me what software you used to use in the CMM machine, and like what are the other things that you did in the CMM machine, did you do programming or not? And after asking this question, he came to the conclusion that I just used to do loading and unloading of the part on the CMM machine, that's it, which was essentially true, right? So if you are going to exaggerate, or if you are going to lie about the responsibilities that you performed in the previous job, they will figure it out. So just mention the things accordingly, because some interviewers, they go very specifically, very deeply, and they know like how much experience you have, because they have been on the field for so long, right? So don't lie about the things, just be honest and tell them like whatever experience you had. Because in general in Canada, whatever interviews that I gave, whatever job offers that I have, the one conclusion that I have is that it's not true that they are not ready to train you. They are willing to train you, but before that they want to make sure that you are going to stay along with them, along with a positive mindset, and specifically the person who is not going to lie to them, right? So you have to be very honest about your experiences, so that they can like hire you as per your specific experience, right? So don't lie about things, that is the only conclusion, right? Coming to the next thing, whenever you are writing the resume and the points that you are going to mention, make sure that you write the resume having the like, you can say, template which has already been used for getting a job, and that person has already successfully gotten a job, right? So that you have a good starting point to start from, and you just have to do the modifications in that particular resume to create your own resume, right? So this was all from my side. I hope this video had all the information that you may require. And in case you have any other doubts, you can drop those doubts in the comment section and I will answer to those comments if possible. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to create a whole new series on like how to get jobs in Canada, what are the things that you have to be careful of, how is my experience going to be in the job that I'm going to do, and all the things I'm going to make videos about. So make sure you like, share and subscribe these videos, and see you guys in the next video. Thank you.